Welcome to the super fun game review podcast. Go Mega Ultra Between Review Show. Down. Welcome to MUBRS. Tonight, we are going to be talking about the side quest L.O.S.E.R. But first, a word from our sponsor, Steve from Deep Creek Glassworks.
.com.
It's true.
Works with an X.
Yeah, because Works is spelled W-O-R-X because they are our sponsor who make awesome glass things like glasses that you drink out of, not the kind you wear on your face. That'd be really heavy, or really neat marbles, or some really cool little figurine and statues. He's been making these octopi. They are fucking awesome.
They are awesome.
They are really neat.
The pencil holders?
Yeah, the pencil holders, and he's
so
making some smaller ones that can just be your little just standard desk buddy.
Little tchotchke.
Yeah, little
Your little squid buddy.
Yeah, exactly. He started making like oil burners, like
okay.
like oil yeah. So it's branching out, and his branching out can plant a seed in your home and grow and flourish. Well, it's not going to grow; it's glass, but it'll look really neat in your house. So you need to go check them out at deepcreekglassworks.com. Check them out on Etsy. Visit their Facebook. How about their Instagram? Wherever you want. And when you do, and when you start buying some of this awesome stuff, you need to be sure that you use our promo code SUPERFUN, because that's going to get you 10% off of your first purchase. And for buying online, he's going to ship it to you for how much?
Free.
You're goddamn right. And how are they going to show up?
Crush-resistant boxes.
Exactly. Those boxes will not be crushed, just like your hopes and dreams. But brighten your days. Grab some awesome glass from deepcreekglassworks.com. Works spelled W-O-R-X.
Today.
Nice.
All right. I'm tired now. Taking a nap.
So,
Really? You gonna take a nap?
Yeah, right now.
our side quest into narrative storytelling and RPG. Well, first, we want to thank everyone that listened to it. And we got a decent amount of feedback in the Discord about, little things to improve and stuff. So, we're just going to kind of openly discuss things that we're going to improve, things that we're looking to change, and then just like some active reworkings that we're going to do going forward. So, who wants to start first?
All right. So I will say that this whole project has been kind of a challenge. Not only do we never role play,
Speak for yourself.
but
I'm a doctor.
some of us are familiar with Dungeons and Dragons, but this is a whole different system in itself.
Yeah.
So I think we were piling new on top of new, and it made for a big challenge when maybe we should have come into it with some practice on one of the fronts, whether that be the role-playing portion of things or a familiar game that we kind of know the rules to already.
Right.
So I think we're going to make some modifications going forward and kind of adapt it into a more D&D-like game rather than the current system that we're using. It's just very complex to remember what an up test is versus a down test, when it's just much easier to say, hey, take a strength test, take a dexterity test. Like, everybody knows what those stats mean without having to explain them every single time that they come up.
Most general listeners that have played any type of RPG are going to more easily pick up listening to it as well.
Be like, I know what you're talking about there, instead of, oh, what's an up dog?
It's not so foreign.
And
Yeah.
if it's easier for us to translate, it ends up being more, more direct interaction with the game itself, instead of us like explaining what we're doing kind of behind the scenes. So there's less guesswork.
That and the way that they had their stats kind of broken down, I can 100% see some of them being used
God.
Spit next time. Jeez.
You good? Yeah.
I almost did. I didn't want to spit all over
Harry's
stuff.
chest.
Yeah. God, please.
So sorry, Harry. Continue.
That's fine.
I got to move it up. His tail's just like smacking.
He's going nuts right now.
Yeah, he
Is
is.
he? Why?
His tail is just
He just look.
going
look at
bananas.
It. It's got.
Good for him. Glad he's happy.
Yeah, of course
He's
he is.
fucking high.
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Not yet. It's not 7.
Not yet.
He goes into like a just like a standing coma.
Trance.
God, I'd pay good money for that.
Just like a horse sleeping.
Yeah,
Standing
just stand it up.
Do they sleep standing up?
Joe's just spitting out
Joe's just
equestrian
making
facts.
horse assumptions over here.
I'm making assumptions about whores over here.
There goes Joe talking about his whores again. So modification of the game.
Modification of the game.
You know, at least because.
What I was thinking is, so the way the stats were currently broken down in the far-flung system, some of them are going to get used constantly, and I think some would be neglected for episodes on end. Not that I'm not trying to balance like all the different tests, but I could see some being just much more useful for a narrative sense than others.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense.
I could just see the traditional D&D statistics being more evenly used across the board.
Well, that, and I mean, to like Clark was saying, it's going to be a better representation of us being able to play some sort of tabletop game because there's some sort of like it's familiar to us, and you know, trying to sit down and learn a game and record episodes while trying to learn at the same time was rough. And like really rough because, I mean, one, huge positive, awesome job on editing, Harry. Thank you for that. I know you put a lot of time and effort, and it's definitely different than anything else we've really put out. But there was a lot of stuff to drudge through. So I think with us kind of, you know, looking at something where if we can integrate, you know, things we've played before still within the story and the universe, I think it's just going to be better all around.
So slight rebuild, slight redesign of how we're going to be doing things when we're recording.
I do want to stick with the space setting, though. I think there's
yeah.
huge ton of potential
We're
there.
taking the characters and everything that we've already done. We're just moving forward from that with these changes. We're not really retelling any of that story that we just went through.
No, I'm excited for where this story is going to go.
But, you know, our plan is to have this episode for anyone that just listens to MUBRS, and then we are actually going to have an intro where we kind of narratively talk about how these changes are going to happen within the world, and that's, you know, at a later date.
Well, no, I think just like the first 5 minutes of the next episode, we'll just go over the rules of what's going on from a narrative sense. Re-explain the sound effects.
Speaking of, I think we're going to redo some of the sound effects. and not only that, we're gonna we've listened to and taken feedback on the levels of the sound effects. Sometimes it's a lot more clustered. So some of the other feedback that we saw was that we're like talking over each other, and it creates very difficult editing points. To split that apart, we're going to be actively focused on not talking over each other, and much less laughing in the episodes as well. Like, so, you know, going forward.
That was my throat gurgling. I'm sorry.
Should have spit.
But yeah, so realistically, also the goal is to put out still only like 20 to 30 minutes of content per episode.
Because there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, it's a lot more, and
I don't think we're going to hit 30-minute episodes.
yeah, I'm just saying that's
Setting an expectation, you know,
setting
at least
an expectations of 15 to 30 minutes episodes is.
I think setting the expectation of 15 to 20. That should, I think, is going to be the expectation.
Okay. But yeah, because a lot of the stuff, I mean, you know, we got total an hour of content out of 3 hours of recording and then 8 hours of editing.
It's
So-
very time consuming, especially with, you know, working full time and families to take care of and everything else. We want to be able to put out, if we can put out like an hour an episode, that would be fucking awesome. But
it would be, but
that's
would
not
also mean that we're all making money primarily through the podcast.
Yeah.
At that point, like we're a production company, and we're just not that. We're
No.
we're four dudes that all
Or in a
have-
basement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all have full-time jobs. All have loved ones and family to take care of,
And we're all naked.
Yep.
No, that 8 hours editing was closer to per episode, not for all three.
Gotcha.
yeah.
It was close to 20 hours of editing to get through those 3 episodes.
Good time.
So yeah,
But again, at least with these changes, hopefully that's going to cut down a good bit. I mean, we won't know until we do it. Kind of like how we jumped in and wanted to do this. We didn't know how it was going to go.
Yeah, that's how we roll.
Yeah, it's just kind of fuck it, we'll do it live, which is what we did. And hey, it's a learning experience. And yeah, again,
it's been a life motto for our friend group for years.
it's very
Fuck
true.
It, we'll do it live.
Yeah, and we did.
Who coined that?
Was that Bill O'Reilly?
Yeah.
Yeah,
O'Reilly.
okay.
Yeah, his teleprompter. I'll write it myself. We'll do it live.
Yeah, fuck it, we'll do it live.
Fuck it. What a sweetheart he is.
What do you mean read it? There's no fucking words on it.
Fuck it. Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Well, so opening up the discussion. Let's start with the positives. What did everybody like about this experience so far?
I liked where you were taking us. I liked your delivery as I guess like a GM, since we're not in
Game
like a dungeon,
manager,
like
yeah.
game manager and
Yeah.
whatnot. You're kind of pointing us in the direction and going through the episodes again. This was it just listening to us in the way you presented stuff reminded me why you were one of my favorite DMs between the few different D&D groups. So this isn't just going to be me jerking off Harry for 10 minutes. That's
Yeah,
after
I don't want to see that.
That's
Doesn't
after
take
the
me
episode.
10 minutes anyway.
Yeah, I know. It's more like
Well, Steve did it to you, so like
2.5.
It's just half-assed.
Not half is too much. Quarter-assing. That's about my level.
he just doesn't have the right angle.
Well, I'm used to the left. Never mind. But just the
You had to think about it.
I did. But like the actual the direction and the setting of where we're going, I'm very excited for that. I do like the fact that this is a very different type of group than like you would find in like a D&D where you have
Oh, for
like
sure.
so I think that is definitely a strong foundation for us to, still be able to kind of modify the gameplay itself to be able to kind of, tie everything back in and make it a little more smooth and comfortable. Yeah.
So what I'm looking forward to, Harry, is the rest of your voices.
Yeah, I gotta say, I forget the captain's name, but Captain Woody Lightyear was fucking awesome at the end.
Yeah. The best part was it was
You didn't listen to the episode today, did you?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I said
it's
you-
been a while. I heard it so much when I was editing.
You sounded like a Western space captain. So
He always reminded me of like a morning zoo DJ. Hey guys, we're getting ready to go to space.
My inspiration for him was Zap Brannigan from Futurama.
Futurama. Yeah.
I get that.
you did that, but you put a cowboy hat on.
Well,
and
yeah.
gave a
That's
fucking
just who I had in
star
mind when I was
yeah.
like kind of creating this
Yeah.
character. I wanted him to be like a real douchey.
I'm
like
Zap Brannigan.
Tell me something more, Kip. No, I dig it. I hope you're keeping a folder of your different voices, because even just again, I listened through all of them again today, and just hearing like, well, let me start. Nope, that's not the voice.
Yeah, that was really funny.
That was
too.
funny. Yeah. We're going to continue to leave that type of shit in, I hope.
Yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's called content.
Hilarious.
I think it's going to be interesting where we take all of our characters. I am specifically, I'm excited to see like what Harry has in store for us, like narratively. Kind of like more of the origins for your character, Steve. Joe, for you to go real deep with your character. We got a very good surface level, like kind of what your character's about, but like I'm waiting for like the deep narrative for your character. Yeah. And I'm excited to tell the story of my character. Like I kind of have ideas in my head that I express a lot.
The smile on Clark's face when he starts talking about it, he's just like, ooh.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I like stuff like this. Like this is fun to me. So you know.
I would hope so.
Does everybody like their character?
I do. I do think, at least like going to like the negative end, and it was a comment where like Clark and I sound a little similar in game, and I think it's not even just necessarily the pitch, but in the speaking, because like I'm just kind of like a nervous dude type thing, and I
Clark
think
doesn't have the nervousness. I will say that you can hear that distinct, but they're in the same pitch range. I want to say
because I'm going for more of like a Baymax type character where it's like that vaguely soft robotic voice.
Yeah,
and it is very close to Steve's like softer, I'm anxious, I don't want to talk voice. It's just yours is like mostly like like the semi-stuttering, the tripping
kind of in and out a little bit.
Yeah, and I try to stay very like consistent in at least like monotone.
Yeah.
I did want to pitch an idea. I think I talked to Steve privately about this before. From a narrative sense, it's not out of the realm, since he's a polymorph, if he wanted to polymorph into different characters in a sense.
Yeah.
I don't see why that wouldn't make sense if he wanted to change into a different form and use a different voice to accompany that form.
Right.
Steve is Raven.
Kind of. But I mean, I also think there's like a little bit of some of the mechanics that I was trying to do by the book still kind of like got in the way of being able to really kind of go down
Feel
that.
it,
Yeah. So we since we're kind of going a little more homebrew, but still
We're
using
swerving.
that as
We're swerving
we're
hard on
swerving.
this.
It's like, oh no, deer in the road.
We're making a basic.
We're playing with those blurred lines.
Yeah.
Definitely making a homebrew of Farflung and D&D combined to just basically the whole idea is to just make a better listening experience and a better playing experience for us.
Yeah.
Which in turn will make hopefully a great experience for everybody.
Yeah.
And so revisiting like the sound effects, which would be awesome if we got it into like the soundboard setup, so we could do it live like that. That is one less editing thing to have to sneak those in.
Yeah, so that was going to be my suggestion. Instead of editing in all of the different roles, since we have 4 roles for the different levels.
Can I pitch an idea real quick?
Yeah.
Why don't we do failure, mixed success, and success?
That's fine.
And just chop out.
Yeah.
Since there was success before and great success.
Great success.
They're very from a narrative sense, it's hard to differentiate.
We could drop that completely. We could recognize it on the rolls, or however you want to reconcile that, or if you want to just break it into 3s and adapt.
So we're using a 2d6 system.
Yeah,
I thought it'd be we'll pick the middle numbers, like your 6, 7, and 8 as like the mixed success, and then like I don't know, maybe like
9, 10,
9 and
11,
up
12
is a success, and then anything below a 6 would be a failure, and then obviously taking your modifiers
into account.
Into account with that.
Yeah.
But I thought that might be a good way to balance that out.
For sure.
We might need to like nail down for like some of the numbers, because I think it's to have like 4 chances at like a full success seems like a bit much. Maybe like 10, 11, 12 will be
Well, but I mean, you got to think of
yeah.
the odds of rolling 2d6 too. If you go back to your rules of Catan, like your 6, 7s, and 8s are going to be
the commons.
the really common ones.
Yeah, exactly. No, I get you.
Good old craps table.
Go back to your rules of fucking Catan area. I'm out of here.
I love traps.
Anybody
man.
got sheep? Got sheep?
No, but I got cinder. You want some cinder?
I got some stone. Wood up.
Longest road over here, baby.
Shut up,
Always playing the
boy.
I
longest
got
road
a lot
game.
of wood over here. Anyway.
I always lose that game, but I will always have the longest road.
Well, that's why you're putting all your resources in roads. Build some houses. Roads don't earn you more materials.
Fuck it, I need a road. It's made out of silk.
Build more roads. Anyway.
Yeah.
Huge tangent into fucking Catan of all places.
Yeah. I mean, for things that like I did not like in the experience there. I will say...
wait, sorry, before we get to that, are we done with likes? Does anybody have anything else they wanted to add? Like things that were positive about the experience?
I mean, I thought it was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah, I did. And
All
it's...
right, hit us, Steve.
All right. Well, it's not going to be big because like my things that I don't want to say that I didn't like because that even just makes it seem like I did not enjoy the time.
Things you are self-critical of.
I think is a lot of behind the scenes stuff where I think we'll talk about and we'll address and kind of get to it. I also just kind of feel like it's trying to find the voice for the character, not like the actual voice, but just the character itself and trying to get into
The persona.
Yeah. I found that
persona.
Yeah, I found that a little difficult, but I think that was some of my own doing because it's not like I have like necessarily like a D&D doppelganger that I can go off of. It's not like it's a warrior.
You mean you didn't pick the old army guy?
But I mean, it's not a warrior or a rogue type thing. It's just, I don't know. It just seemed kind of like out of the box. And it's not that I didn't have, that I find it as a negative thing. I just found that as more of like a difficult thing, or at least, for the first go around of it. But that's why it takes time and, need to figure it out.
Find it. You'll find yourself, Steve.
Yeah, it'll be, thanks, man.
I wonder if I don't want to spoil anything. Just maybe I'll just make it off radio talk.
Sure.
Off the radio.
Off the radio.
When we're not on the talkies.
What are you, 75?
Fucking AM Harry over here.
Nice.
Got my ham radio.
Harry fucking over here. 1620 all day.
So what about you guys? Things that maybe you didn't like or didn't enjoy or something along where it's not like a necessarily
I will say
positive
another
aspect.
behind the scenes, just the amount of time is fucking rough.
Yeah.
So it's not only just the editing, which I already kind of bitched about. Like 20 hours over 3 episodes is a lot. But there's also the pre-production and coming up with the campaign idea, writing it all down.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So, yes. So we have to scale it back.
Yeah.
If this is sustainable, we have to scale it back.
Scalability is important.
Hence the 15 to 20
Yes.
minutes.
Yep. That I think each episode will feel more impactful then.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then I can really
If each episode has a direct narrative that we're trying to go for, yeah, I believe so. One thing I'm like self-critical of is it is like the behind the scenes chatter, and some of it made it into the actual production. Basically because we weren't doing enough as the characters in the world. So I would like explain something that I'm going to do, and then I roll, and then I'm acting out the after effect instead of going through the whole process as my character, like narratively. So like hopefully as we go forward, we're moving more towards that, like being in characters more, outside of chatter less.
Yeah.
Because a lot of that stuff was us just trying to understand the rules and stuff like that.
Right.
So as we're going, it should more naturally be us in character more explaining things and less.
Yeah, and you know what might be fun along with that? If you do something that they're unaware of, but then they have to react to your decision making, whether it's poor or a great decision, but they have to kind of play along with that. I think that can make for funny.
I'm down.
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to create the situation because we can kind of have like an idea of like, all right, well, we left off this last episode or this last part, and we kind of have an idea of where we're going, but there's no fuck it, we'll do it live factor. And then just by being like,
It's more fun that way.
I'm going to do this, and then Harry's like, all right, roll,
like, fucking roll.
X, and then Clark and Joe are like, okay,
You're like, guess
this
we're
is
just
happening.
hanging on here.
Yeah, exactly. But it's if we can get like the balance of in character, in game, and like off on the side, because we're still going to have sidebar. But if we can,
Sure,
get it to
absolutely.
like 85-15. I think
Right,
somewhere around there would
and
be.
that's just stuff that ends up in production.
Right.
There can be more. It's just a matter of like we need to speak in a way that makes it so that 15% is focused on the game and then narratively coming through.
Make it have a point.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Everything should have a point
Instead
when it
of
comes to the actual
instead of
production.
rambling on for a little bit, but I mean, we don't ramble, do we?
Pretty sure that was the name of our last MUBRS episode.
There was there was also lots of laughing from us in the episodes, and I know people were kind of like iffy on that.
Well, I made a conscious decision after the first episode to cut a lot of that.
Yeah, no, and I think that's the route that we should go because it's less conversational. So us laughing, it's not going to matter. We want you guys to laugh, not hear us laughing.
I don't know, unless it's really good. I want to hear me laughing and then just kind of joke around with it. I don't know. There's a part of it where it's like you can be so far in the game and then someone just does something fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
The entire group is just
Laughing as
like
if in character.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
and then
it's
kind of bring it back. Not even in character, just us, but it kind of shows
Right.
it's like, hey, we're still here, and then kind of it comes back in a little bit.
I listened to the 3 episodes again today, and the difference from the first episode to the third episode, with the specifically like us laughing and stuff, we're still ourselves in the third one. In the first one, it's like every single time we told a joke, we have the laugh tracks in there, like not in the laugh tracks, but like
It's like a 90s
us-
sitcom.
It's like, but it's us laughing, and it's like way too much in the first episode.
Yeah, I think it was like, yeah.
Yeah, it's ludicrous how much. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of it, and that kind of stuff needs to be kind of like culled out because it's not every single joke. It should be the really ridiculous shit that just maybe breaks everybody. Like that's the kind of stuff that should stay in
Yeah.
going forward. So
Got it.
that's not a criticism of you. I'm just saying in general. That's
Yeah.
all of us. We need to just be cognizant of like.
Don't laugh.
Dead inside. Got it.
It's not even don't laugh. It's just you got to try to recoup. Like even if it's funny, you got to try to like recoup and stay in the moment to keep the coherency for the narrative and the editing and the production and stuff like that. We totally could do a cutting room floor bloopers as well, where it's just all of us fucking laughing hysterically.
For 45
Yeah,
minutes.
it's just 45 minutes of us
laughing and
just
dick jokes.
No, you don't even put the jokes or anything in. It's just us laughing for 45 minutes. Congratulations. It's like the episode of Rocko's Modern Life when he just...
That's the one I was going for.
There we go.
So,
Jesus, that's a lot.
does anyone have anything else?
that is-
Or we could probably wrap this episode, honestly.
I don't know.
I like the direction that we're going.
Mm-hmm.
I
Same.
think we're making some good choices to move forward here.
Yeah.
Excited where the story goes. I think it's going to make it easier where we're changing stuff.
Yeah, and over time we're going to get a flow but yeah, kind of like how when we started the podcast, it's just all over the fucking place. So then it took a little bit, find the rhythm and kind of, to get ourselves, it's like game plan.
Cool.
Remember
Feel the
all-
rhythm. Feel
Yeah.
the vibe. Come on, y'all! It's podcast time.
We're going to have to chant that before we start recording every time.
God, that's our new MUBRS intro.
I don't hate that.
No, I don't.
just that, and then welcome to MUBRS.
I'm getting dreadlocks.
Kiss the egg.
and then we luge the table.
Oh man.
The last sound I've ever heard on the podcast is just as all of our stuff breaks, and we're like, yeah, we're not replacing it.
Oh man. I will say the positive thing though is that if I get tired of doing this, I can just open a hatch and launch you guys into space.
That's true. That's true.
The end.
You have the button of just like self-destruct. It's like, oh well,
True.
what happens after that? Nothing. You're all dead. This is done.
it'll be one of us will ask him something narratively very annoying to explain, and he'll just be like, that's weird. You see a black horizon.
Is it me? Did I shapeshift?
It's the extinction event that you're trying to stop.
God damn Ragnarok.
Fucking Death Stranding over here.
I have a baby strapped to her chest.
Good.
All right, stay safe.
Stay lovely.
Stay sexy.
Love you guys.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to follow us on social media and all streaming platforms at Superfun Podcast for more episodes. If you enjoyed the show, tell a friend about us and consider becoming a Patreon member for more exclusive content.